This is how we ride. This is how we do.
Kind of like hamburgers versus salad. Like the hamburger makes you feel good initially, but the salad will make you feel better in the long run. So like you mentioned how it was on TNN. I mentioned how it was the ABC, ESPN exposure to all these sports. Now I think one thing that killed racing overall, because racing overall is less popular than ever. Not just dirt. Racing overall, I think it is like NASCAR's with like 5 million likes and like on Facebook, which is where the majority of NASCAR fans reside, because Facebook's a conservative it's considered the conservative platform of social medias. But I think it used to be bigger back then because you had different sports of racing. You know, you used to walk into the racing restaurant back then, and when it say you never heard of it, you get introduced to it through television. And you would see a NASCAR race, or hell, there'd be swamp buggy racing on there. There'd be all kinds.
That was the best.
ESP, all kinds. So if you didn't really like a NASCAR Cup race of a car going in the corner, you know, just chilling out, drinking a Slurpee and smoking cigarettes with Dick Trickle, you know, you could tune over and see, you know, Steve Kinser and Sammy Swindell throwing sliders. And if you didn't like that, you could turn over and watch IndyCar, which IndyCar was the biggest form of American motorsports at that time.
Yeah. Absolutely.
And I think what happened was I heard that ESPN advertisers just didn't see the value in racing, and then like Fox and everybody got involved. And I think the first thing that killed racing was the popularity of racing was Speed Channel, because it segregated motorsports. Because on ESPN or TNN or something like that, you could catch somebody who wasn't a race fan and they would get introduced to it. To whereas when it moved to Speed Channel, it segregated the race fan. No one went to the Speed Channel except people who liked racing. So it killed the exposure of the sport. You no longer were expanding the brand of racing.
That's a damn good point right there. Nobody, I mean, if you wanted to watch racing, like to your point, you clicked on a channel. Before, you had different. I'm with you, man. That's
like
really
NBA fans were getting on there to watch the game in 30 minutes, and they're catching the end of a World of Outlaw race somewhere, or a dune buggy or something. You know, they're getting a taste of entertainment, and that's how you expanded it. And I was going to further elaborate into the next step that's even worse is now, and this is why I've struggled with streaming, is streaming has segregated it to the next level to where now you got to pay to see it. You know, luckily there's YouTube and Facebook with the video highlights, or we would be destroyed, you know, because outside of somebody catching a video on Facebook or YouTube, you're not going to see racing at all anymore, anywhere, unless it's NASCAR. And see that segregation of NASCAR being allowed on the stage back in those days versus the dirt stuff and everything else allowed NASCAR to portray a ideology of what racing is to dumb regular people. And so now people 30 years later view that as this NFL, because that's all they've ever seen on their TV. You know, in every other sport, that's how it works. What's on the TV is what's the top level. Yeah, it's that's what's on the top, and then they use kids from dirt. They never go and get a grown man from dirt. They get a kid from dirt who did it from 14 to 18 years old, so that when they introduce a dirt racer, it's like, yeah, he grew up just like he would grow up playing high school. He grew up driving dirt. And the NASCAR drivers are from dirt narrative gets started. I mean, before Kyle Larson got kicked out and Chase Elliott and a few people tried dirt, which we need to thank them for getting exposed. But, I mean, before they did that, there were people in comments and NASCAR stuff that would come on like during Knoxville or something, and Kyle Larson would run third or something, and they would get on there, well, if Kyle Larson can run third, heck, Chase Elliott would lap the field. Like, this is what but this is what people thought. That's
so crazy.
If Tom Brady can beat, or any NFL player can go to your local high school and destroy the high school cornerbacks and destroy any team there is. The worst NFL team could beat the best college team. You know, so it's the same kind of mindset, narrative that's played out. But streaming, back to your point, I think segregates the sport even to a further extent. And I don't know if it's good in that department at all, because it segregates people to have to pay to watch it, which makes money short term, but long term it'll destroy the sport. It's the hamburger, it's not the salad.
This is how we ride, this is how we do. Riding mud, sliding up high.